reporting for TTN-HD Production Live, here with actor-producer ACE MARRERO. What is Madison County?
Madison County is a story about a group of college kids who go in search of this book. And in this book, it's written by this author from the town Madison County, and he's basically trying to raise a spotlight on this famed serial killer called Damien. So these college kids get a hold of this book, and they try to go find this author to get more stories about the killer and the lore and all that. And all hell breaks loose once they get to the city, and they start digging around, and the people are not really too friendly and too keen on what they're doing. So our killer is this 7 foot tall. He's a former stunt guy, but he's done a couple of horror films, and he's dressed and he wears a pig mask. That's what our sort of our image has been, just that's the strength of our images. It's a pig's mask. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool, fun feature. We just premiered at Screamfest in October, sold out, and we actually just were at the Little Rock Film Festival, and we took home the audience prize there. So
congratulations!
Yeah,
and you produced the film, and you're in it as well?
I did. Yeah, I produced it, and I'm one of the 5 college kids. Sort of the older one of the group, who's not really too happy that we're going, and I'm the protective older brother of one of the characters, who's also in the movie.
And now you're doing a sequel to this film.
Well, we're working on it. We're developing a sequel to it, but a couple months later we shot another film called Roadside, and not really tied into Madison County at all. This is more of a mystery thriller, very Hitchcock. It's about a pregnant couple, and they're stranded on the side of this mountain road during the holidays.
Wait, she's pregnant?
I'm pregnant. No, yes, absolutely. So yes, my wife is pregnant in the film, and it's around Christmas time. We're traveling to my family's house, and there's an obstruction in the road, and I go out to move it, and then from the trees, it's lined with trees, you hear this mysterious voice saying, I wouldn't do that, and basically we're held hostage throughout the whole movie, and it's not, we kind of throw away some of the conventions that, you kind of always ask, like, well, why don't they just drive away or call someone, or conveniently the phone's not working, but like our phones are working in the film, the car's running, we can leave whenever we like, but that's just the game that he's sort of playing with us, cat and mouse, so it's very high concept, single location, very high stakes, and very, very heavy on thriller element.
Great. And do you help come up with the ideas for your films?
No, I wish I did. No, my 2 producers and the writer-director Eric England, who he wrote both films, but the Roadside was something, I don't know, it's kind of confusing. Sometimes Eric says he thought of it by himself, but I know Daniel, our other producers, also, they discussed the story a little bit, so I'm not quite clear who came up with the idea. I think it was solely Eric, and then Daniel helped come up with certain elements of the film for the story, but Eric wrote it, primarily on his own, and he's usually the one that writes all the films that we do.
What inspired you to get into the business?
I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, all I knew is I wanted to be like a star, you know what I mean, like a film star, and I just always had that ambition, and I was an athlete all through high school, all through my life basically, and then in college I played my first year, and then I kind of gave it up. I knew I wasn't going to play professionally, and I only ended up going to college initially because my parents didn't want me to join the military. I was going to join the military, the Air Force, and they were asking whatever happened to my dream of wanting to be an actor, and I was like, I didn't think you guys would support it. So sure enough, they did. I ended up going to college and taking some theater classes and stuff, and then the ball just started rolling, and I went to a vocational school, so I was an electrician. I had a very heavy technical background, so I kind of transitioned easily into the theater from that side, and then just started evolving, and then before you know it, I transferred to my college. It was a private women's college, and they accepted like a male or 2 a year, and I got into
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mustn't have been hard to get a date.
It was very difficult. No, it wasn't. I actually met my girlfriend at that school. We've been together since, so that was nice. But yeah, so I just ended up, going through the motions with everything, and then I moved back home to New Jersey, and I worked in New York for a little bit doing some off-Broadway and just some film, little student films, whatever I can get my hands on, basically, and then moved out here about 5 years ago, and have just been hustling since, you know.
And what advice would you give to upcoming filmmakers?
Just do it. Just go out and do it. You know, we're in a time right now. It's very exciting that, like, you know, you hear all these horror stories of how the business is changing and how it's not what it was and how it's, you know, it's very difficult, and, you know, it's all negatives. And for me, you know, I like to think there's the ignorance of, like, you know, the people on the news side of things, the beginners, you know what I mean, that are not really in tune with all that negativity. But I also think I don't sort of wait on anything, you know. I mean, I just like to stay busy, and I know I can stay busy, and coupled with that is the advances in technology that we have, you know. Like, you can go into Walmart and buy a consumer grade camera that looks so legit, you know, and you look on YouTube and there's, you know, millions of producers and directors, little kids doing stuff, you know. So, you know, with computers and everything, like, you can do stuff and keep yourself busy and just be creative and use the limitations to be creative. That's what I think. And
where's the best place to find you online?
Well, I have a website, acemarrero.com. Of course, like, a couple of our projects have websites, MadisonCountyMovie.com. I'm also working on another feature right now. I shot a pilot a couple years ago called Art of Chores with a guy named Dan Herzog, and we actually hired Dan on to DP Roadside. So we've worked on a couple projects together, and he brought me onto this project called For Blood or Justice, and that has a website, forbloodorjustice.com, and it's a horror noir and very stylized piece, and it's about this Texas lawman who's chasing these renegade killers across the Texas border and into Mexico. And there's all sorts of strange characters and stuff once they get into Mexico. But we're working on that now for production for later this year. And yeah, you definitely check out that website. It's really sharp, really cool imagery and stuff.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ace, and best of luck with your upcoming projects.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. You too.
Thank you. I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for TTN-HD Production Live.